G'day, I'm Phil Dudman, the Garden Guru, and I'm just harvesting the last of my summer crops of corn, and it's been a fantastic crop indeed. And I'm just getting ready for planting up one of my most important winter crops, and that's onions. And this works out to be a really good spot to be planting onions, because you need to know with onions, they don't want too much nitrogen because it gives you too much leaf growth instead of the lovely thick bulbs that we want. So where you've got the corn growing, it's used up a lot of that nitrogen in the soil, so this is going to be absolutely perfect. So I'm just digging in now and giving the soil a little bit of a turnover with a fork, and it's absolutely teeming with worms. It's fantastic in here. And while we're not going to be adding any nitrogen, we do need to check on the pH. Now, onions love a pH it's around 6.5. Now, I know mine's a little bit acid, and it's worth checking yours, but I'm going to add a little bit of lime in here just to bring the pH up to what they like. Just a couple of good handfuls. It's going to get them off to a really good start. So it's just a matter of digging all that lime through into your prepared soil, so we've got it nice and ready for planting. It's good exercise too. Now let's have a look at these onions. Now here's my onions. I'm planting some of these spring onions here, and I reckon that seedlings are the way to go. You can buy a seed, but it's so much quicker to just get a punnet of seedlings. You get about 50 plants in each one, and they're at a good size, ready to plant out. And when you pull them out, you can see there's heaps of these roots all here from these plants. And your job to do first is to get in and split these all up into individual plants. Now you can see I'm being pretty rough with these, and you can be, because they're pretty hardy. And you just want to rip them out and get them up to individual plants like this. Now, planting these things is one of the easiest things you could ever want to do. It just starts with making a bit of a trench around about 5-10 centimetres deep. I'm going to make 3 of them here, about 10 or 15 centimetres apart, and that's where we're going to plant our onions. And planting these babies is even easier. You just take your individual little onion plants and start laying them along in your trench. I'm putting them about 10 centimetres apart, roots to the bottom of course, right along those trenches. Now you can see what I'm starting to do here, lining them all up until I've got my 3 rows full of onions. And once they're all lined up along their trenches, what you've got to do then is just go along and backfill with a bit of that lovely soil. Doesn't take long to do. It's easy, isn't it? Except you keep pulling them out. Here we go. And look, I've been as rough as anything. But those onions, they're planted. Now, don't worry about the fact that they're laying on their sides, because within a week or so, these will start to stand up all by their little selves. The gentle sound of running water out of the watering can. Don't you love it? Giving these babies what they deserve, and that's what they need, a good water in after we've planted them, and they're going to be on their way. So there you go, a few tips on how to plant your onions. And if you live in a subtropical or tropical area, you need to get your onions in nice and early, the start of autumn, so you've got a nice, long, cool growing season through the winter. If you're in a cold area, you can probably wait till, early winter to plant. You should be fine then. But there you go, there's your planting onions. I'm Phil Dudman. Get into your garden, and I'll see you next time.